Well, hello everybody and welcome to MikeyTaylorGaming, where today we're taking a look into the world of Ape Escape 1 and 2 glitches for the PS1 and PS2 respectively. I figured that since these games don't have too many glitches in them, I'd feature them both in one episode just to give you guys a little bit of extra happiness during these times of complete and utter boredom. So with that being said, let's check out what the first game has in store for us, and I hope you all enjoy. While I was researching these games, I realised pretty quickly that there really aren't that many glitches to find in them, but that doesn't mean that we're in for a boring episode, because there's still a couple that are going to make your Ape Escape experience way better than it's ever been before. I mean, look at this. How can this not improve your Ape Escape experience? Tiptoeing at microns per hour. You're never going to sneak up on a monkey like that, dude. I think it might even be taunting us. Just laying there on the sunbed, you know, chilling. With his face being all see-through and stuff. If it wasn't already obvious, this isn't the best glitch in the game. There's something a lot better to see, but before we head into the ultimate top-tier S-rank glitch that I know you're all dying to see, let's take a look at a technique known as boost jumping to get us warmed up for it. When you eventually get a hold of the super hoop, or the dash hoop, or the hoop, whatever you want to call it, you'll be able to use it to run around way faster than you usually would, making it a lot quicker to get around levels. That is, if you don't accidentally trigger the sound glitch anyway. I have absolutely no idea what causes this, but sometimes using the dash hoop makes this unbearable noise repeat until you quit the level. I mean, just listen to this. And I'm not kidding when I say every single time this glitch triggered, my recording software decided to crash if I didn't quit out of the level quickly enough. I have never heard such an annoying noise in my entire life, and I'm pretty sure that's what the recording software was thinking too. Anyway, let's get back to the glitch that I was actually going to show you guys. If you're hoping to make a big jump when dashing with the hoop, then you'll be pretty disappointed, because jumping slows Spike down to regular jump speed. Luckily, there's a way to jump at running speed if you press the button you've assigned the hoop to at the same time as the jump button. You can carry on the speed into a double jump if you release the analog stick and jump again too. This doesn't seem like it would make a huge difference, but when you compare the two jumps side by side, you can see just how much extra distance you get, and it's enough of a change to actually help you get to some places you wouldn't usually be able to. Like, how annoying is it that you can't get up onto the ledge in the very first stage to catch Exocet the monkey? If you answered very, then why not use this to jump on up there before getting the Sky Flyer? Take that, you cheeky monkey. With this newly acquired knowledge, you could head out there and try to reach new places that you couldn't before, but if you just want to glitch yourself anywhere you like with basically no limits, then maybe you should wait and see what's in store with the next glitch. There are plenty of other items and weapons to collect during your adventure, and you better believe me that when it comes to glitches, the Slingshot is by far the king of the items on this one. How exactly can a simple Slingshot be the best item in the game for glitching, you might ask? Well, just take a look at this. You wouldn't be able to do this without the Slingshot, that's for sure, because using a couple of simple button inputs, you can use it to jump infinitely. This really is as simple as pressing the jump button, then pulling back the Slingshot, and then repeating. If you don't believe me, just look up in the corner. The inputs are up there, and that really is all there is to this glitch. As you can imagine, you can use this one to get out of bounds all over the place, and you'll soon find that there are common things to find out of bounds too. Things like invisible collision. These are usually just invisible walls that are in place to stop you getting out of bounds in the first place, and many of them aren't that tall, so you can grab onto the top of them and climb up. As well as invisible walls, there's plenty of invisible platforms dotted all over the levels too. These platforms are probably just the collision of things in the level that you're never supposed to be able to reach, and maybe they programmed it like this because it saves not having to match collisions to objects if you're never supposed to be up here. Something that really isn't helpful when you're out of bounds is that you'll find a lot of places where you can get stuck, so just be careful where you're stepping, otherwise you'll have to exit the level and cut your exploration short. Any loading zones that you can reach from out of bounds that lead to different parts of the stages will work like normal no matter which angle you touch them from. There are a few that you can't even reach out of bounds though, because unlike in most games, the boundaries of this one are solid from both sides, meaning you can't just walk back in bounds easily. You've also got to be careful where you step for another reason too, because some places just seem to have death planes for absolutely no reason. I guarantee you that this should have been a loading zone. I landed on the darkness of the loading zone and it didn't count, it killed me. Unbelievable. Anyway, as I was saying at the start of this glitch, you'll be able to get to almost any area that you can set your eyes on, and even many that you can't. So why don't we check out a couple of places that some people have deemed as the glitch areas. That effect might have been over the top, but I'm trying new things, so shut up. You'll get to see one of the best effects of this glitch if you're in an open top stage, because if you continuously jump for about a minute, you'll be surprised to discover a copy of the stage way up in the air. The only difference here is that the duplicate stage has no collision whatsoever, so you'll just pass right through any platforms that you can see. And I've got to say, this gives a whole new meaning to the term look but don't touch, because you can't touch anything. The jokes on this channel never get any better. You can get a duplicate stage to appear in any level that you like, but trying to keep the infinite jumping going for so long will make your fingers ache like crazy. And you'll only see the duplicate level for a second or two, so is it really worth it? Ask my fingers, and they'll tell you no. No. One of the easiest to reach glitchy areas is right behind the start of the TV tower stage where the cars are driving by. If you use the glitch to get over the fence, you can land on the road where the cars are, and even though you're never meant to be over here, the cars can still kill Spike instantly if they drive through him. And yeah, you heard me right, I said through him. The collision isn't exactly perfect, as you can see, and I'm pretty sure that if I was getting run over by a car, I would have a bigger reaction than Spike right there.
Oh no!
If you have him jump onto a car, or should I say into a car, you can hitch a ride out of bounds. If only we could get out of bounds this easily in every single game, we'd be having an episode of Glitch Picnic every week. It's not even necessary to use the cars to get out of bounds. As we've already seen, you can experiment by jumping up high and then switching to the Sky Flyer to move around and get Spike out of bounds in a lot of places. Usually you won't find too much, but sometimes you can come across unexpected things like this mini village kind of thing in the City Park stage. Just find the pond near the start of the level, jump your way behind the waterfall, and then just walk around out of bounds for a little while and you'll eventually come across this village. There's no collision with any of the houses or the towers here, so nothing really interesting, but it's still something, right? At least, I thought it was something anyway. It actually turns out that this is just some scenery that we can see at the very beginning of the stage, which is, honestly, a huge letdown. I really thought we'd discovered something again, but I guess all the good discoveries are already taken. It's one thing getting up close and personal to things that we can see out of bounds, but how about a discovery out of bounds that you have to look a little harder to find? In the stage Specters Fortress, make your way through the level and right after the cog-turning, lava-filled, moving Spike corridor of death, glitch jump up onto the ledge here and then up and out of bounds following this path to get to the caged up monkey that I've already caught. If you jump up and over the cage to the other side, you'll see this mechanical thing sitting out of bounds. I have no idea what it is, but there's no other way to see it other than to get out of bounds, so that's something for the cutting room floor to investigate, I guess. I actually took a look on the cutting room floor and this thing isn't on there, but it looks suspiciously like a switch without the extra arms to be able to turn it. Maybe it's just like those switches that you can find in the Marble Garden Zone of Sonic 3. I wonder. There's probably an absolute ton of extra areas and extra things to find out of bounds in this game, but I'm not going to search every single corner because it's a pretty big one. Plus, if I did that, then you guys would have nothing to look for yourselves, and I'm pretty sure you'd get bored quickly. That's everything that I wanted to show off in the first game, so let's move on to the second one, where we can activate a glitch that's basically the same as this one, but it's triggered in a slightly different way. Just take a look at this. It's a way easier way of getting around, and unlike the infinite jumping glitch, air crawling won't make your fingers ache for the next 3 days. And yes, I know it's called air walking, but I'm going to refer to it as air crawling because that's exactly what Jimmy is doing, so there. It only takes 4 button inputs to get this working, but you've got to do them pretty quickly to trigger the air crawl, so let's get learning in super slow motion. All you've got to do is jump, pull back the slingshot, push in and hold the left analog stick, then press L1 to get out of the first person view. If you get all the inputs right, then you should see Jimmy floating in the air as long as you're holding the left analog stick in a direction or just pushing it in. You've got to be pretty quick with the inputs if you're doing them in real time, as you can see, but this is not difficult, so with a little practice you should be able to get it working every single time you try it. One thing to note with this is that the timing you trigger the glitch has a big effect on the air crawling, because if you trigger it whilst jumping, Jimmy will constantly rise up into the sky, which is pretty much always the effect that we want. If you're a little slower with the inputs, instead of flying up to the sky, he'll float to the ground and the glitch will end when he touches the floor. But if you want to explore the level rather than flying up way too high to see anything, then you can float in place just by hitting a wall with the sword or any other item, so that's a nice added bonus for us. Plus, if you're hovering in place, you can just crawl through any slopes in the game for some reason, so there really are a lot more possibilities with this one than there were in Ape Escape 1. Just like in the first game, there's no limit to the amount of places that you can explore with this one, so to test out my own theory, I crawled up into the air for about 45 minutes just to see if I could get out of the skybox. The results of this experiment were pretty interesting actually. First, the stage started to flicker, then the stage disappeared, then I passed the cloud box, then some of the cloud box started to flicker, and eventually, yeah, Jimmy made it out into space and became a fully fledged astronaut. I don't know what kind of training he's had for this space exploration, but I'm pretty sure it's not the right kind. I mean, he chases and catches monkeys for a living. So yeah. While you're up here, you'll see that the skybox really glitches out below you, but other than that, there isn't too much else to see or do except for taking a look around at the curve of the world. Fascinating. I know that eventually you guys are going to get bored of checking out the same old scenery, so just release the left analog stick and watch Pipochi do this over and over and over again. Now I have a bit of a predicament here because I'm not sure what's better. Watching him do that or seeing him get stuck upside down on Jimmy's head every single time you air crawl. I guess I'll leave that decision up to you guys down there in the comments section. I know which one I'd choose, so you better choose wisely, otherwise there's not going to be any other episodes of Glitch Picnic coming your way. Okay. I think it's needless to say, but this glitch is extremely helpful for finishing levels quickly since you can skip over any switches and boundaries that block your way. But as well as that, you'll gain access to monkeys way earlier than usual using it too, which will save you a ton of backtracking to levels that you need certain items to fully complete. There's only really one more thing to explain, and that's why exactly does this glitch happen? Well, wherever you use the slingshot, the game expects you to be on the ground. So starting up a crawl whilst the slingshot is active tricks the game into thinking you've crawled on the ground, which clearly isn't the case. And that's basically all there is to it. I don't think I need to tell you guys that it's awesome when such a tiny oversight causes huge glitches, and these are so easy to do that you should already be pulling out your old PS1 or PS2, giving these glitches a try and leaving a comment to tell us where you've been and what you've found using these epic glitches, because I'm sure there's a lot more to find, but sadly, that's the end of today's episode. As always, thank you all so much for watching until the end, where I want to throw out a huge shout out to the Patreon supporters, helping to keep the channel and its equipment up to date. This month they are Max Wegner, Keith Myers, Himdog, Fun for Hire, Multimedia Nerd, and Talentless Hack. Thank you all so much for the extra support, guys, it means the world to me. If you want to keep up to date with everything that's going on with the channel, then make sure to follow me on Twitter, join the Discord, and click that subscribe button and notification bell so that you never miss an episode. Thank you all so much again, and I will see you all in the next video. Oh, and don't forget, I love you all. Mwah.